Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but being a perfectionist makes you a failure. Yeah, I know, pretty bold statement to make, but looking back over the last few months, I realized that it's kind of true. See, not a day goes by that I don't wake up and ask myself, how can I get closer to my creative goals today? And at a certain point, this became really overwhelming because I would spend hours of every single day just thinking and planning and scripting and storyboarding and going through checklists and trying to make sure that everything I could ever make and come up with was going to come out perfectly, just to make nothing. For months, idea after idea would come up and I would turn on the camera and film, whether I was talking, walking, making a tutorial, literally whatever. Nobody knows the answer. None of you know what the answer to what does the word cinematically mean. But then when it came to editing, I would tell myself that the video I made is not good enough to be seen for whatever reason. I literally just always had some excuse in my head as to why I had to scrap my old idea and start over. And that literally led to months of me striving for perfection and not achieving it. And now here we are, 8 months into the year, and I feel so behind on my goals simply because I wanted everything to be perfect before I even started.
See, my problem is I either want to be great or I want to be nothing. And great to me equals perfect.
But the joke's on me, because in my efforts to make everything so perfect, my perfectionism has been the one thing that's been preventing me from making something that is perfect. They say practice makes perfect, but when you're literally sitting there and scrapping every idea that you've ever had, and you're not actually following it through to the end, you're not even giving yourself a chance to achieve perfection. Even though we really shouldn't be striving for perfection anyways, because nobody's perfect, I feel like we also forget that no one actually even knows the vision that we have in our heads. So if it's not executed perfectly, the only person who's gonna actually know that is you. I get a lot of comments and DMs of people saying stuff like they want to start making videos, but they're afraid it won't be good enough or they don't know where to start. And if I've learned anything this year, it's literally that if you're not willing to leave some room to grow and perfect your craft, good quality videos and art is never gonna happen. So unless you're willing to embrace the trash content that you will inevitably make on your way to making something great, you'll literally never get anywhere near this perfection that you're striving for. So yeah, a lot of your work is gonna suck, and it's gonna hurt your ego, and it's probably gonna make you cringe a little bit. Or maybe a lot. But it comes with the territory. If you truly want to accomplish all your goals, you're gonna have to push your pride to the side and admit that, hey, some things may not be your best work, but at least you're trying to make it better. And who knows, maybe your next project is gonna be the best project this world has ever seen. But you never know unless you try. It's actually so funny, because when I think about it, the idea of something being perfect is essentially a myth. Like, by constantly striving for perfection, you're telling yourself that you won't be satisfied until you reach perfection, which creates a false sense of security and reality because you're chasing something that literally doesn't exist, something that can cripple your mindset and keep you stuck in ways to where you end up becoming the failure you were trying to avoid being in the first place. I feel like there are two types of perfectionists. The perfectionists who are really hard on themselves, which means every day they're gonna get up, work hard, and they're gonna put themselves out there no matter what. And then there's people like me. People who are very hard on themselves and work hard for their goals and constantly strive for perfection, but somewhere along the way they give up when they realize that the goal that they were trying to achieve doesn't look like how they pictured it, aka perfect. Some people say that means I self-sabotage because I have a subconscious fear of failure, but I'll unpack that with my therapist later. If you would have told me at the beginning of this year that this is where I would have been in my journey, I would have been offended. But yet, here we are, starting over again, and it's really no one's fault but my own. My problem is, I don't like being bad at things. But they say that's where the greatness comes from, and I've been trying to teach myself that you have to be willing to be bad at something in order to become someone great. It's just so crazy to think about how we are our own worst enemies, and we are the only reasons why we are held back from accomplishing the goals that we cannot stop thinking about. So this is advice to you, but also to me, to get out of your own way. Imagine how far you could have been in your journey if you would have just stopped making excuses. I know we're in the 8th month of the year, and this is the time where the seasons are about to start changing, and people are realizing that summer has gone by so fast and that there are so many places that they've wanted to go and so many places that they wanted to see, and you're looking back and realizing that you didn't do all the things you said you were gonna. But it's okay, because you're not running out of time. It's okay to just take a deep breath and just start. Doesn't matter how long you've been thinking about XYZ goal, just start. And everybody says just start, just start, just start. And I know it's getting really redundant at this point, but they're not wrong. There's a reason why people are saying just pick up the camera, just pick up the hobby, just pick up the pencil, start studying, start writing that book, start making that movie. It's the only way you're gonna get better. Striving for perfection only makes sure that there's failure. So just start. Let it all be crappy now. It's gonna be perfect later.